Alright, I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, and that's because I basically moved into a basement, and I'll explain that in another video. But in this video, I want to talk about why using GPA to measure someone's ability as a worker is a complete joke. A complete joke. A lot of big boomer companies still in this mindset that your GPA is everything and that this is going to reflect whether you can bring a company more money or not, which is really what it comes down to, which is really why companies hire, so that they can make more profit. They need more resources so they can make more profit. And a GPA isn't reflective of that, and I'd like to go over the reasons why. I would venture to even say that GPAs are so subjective, depending on so many different things, that it doesn't mean much more than your ability to stay dedicated to something for 4 years if you get the degree. Now, some people will say, "Nuh-uh, Josh, if you get a good GPA from one of those world-class universities, then that definitely means that you're a good worker." So here's the mechanical engineering curriculum for MIT, one of the top engineering schools in the world. Now, does getting a good grade in humanities, arts, and social sciences mean that you're going to make the company more money? Does they have a swimming requirement, physical education requirement, swimming? Does any of that mean that you're going to be a good employee? Does any of that mean that you can bring profit? No. And then if you scroll down more, you have mechanics materials, thermal fluids, engineering, all this engineering curriculum. And they're like, well, this is the hard stuff, Josh. This is the stuff that separates everyone, because if you take these and you get a good grade, well, then you're obviously smarter. Well, you can be really smart and be a really crappy employee. And you can be really smart and just still not understand what you're supposed to do at work because you don't understand soft skills, because you don't understand politics, because you don't understand bureaucracy in the workplace. So if you were to take someone from MIT and you were to take me and you say, we both have the same GPA, well, which GPA would be worth more? Would it be the one from MIT or would it be the one from no-name Finland College? Well, I'd venture to guess that most people would say, well, it's MIT. That's obvious. He's obviously the better candidate. We'd take the one from MIT because it's MIT. The people are leaning on the brand of the school. The brand of the school doesn't dictate the individual's ability to make the company profit. What I'm saying here is your GPA is as valuable as the person looking at it when you apply to a job thinks that it is. Your school's reputation and their name for that degree is as valuable as the person looking at it thinks it is. Again, there are a lot of big boomer companies that value a school's reputation and a GPA over some individual's ability to do good work. Now again, I'm definitely not saying that all schools are created equal. There are definitely garbage schools out there, but your GPA isn't a good way to measure someone's ability to be an employee. The reality of getting a good GPA is based on contextual information of the individual taking those classes. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Maybe the good professor that you wanted to take that teaches just how you learn wasn't available for your semester. Maybe they didn't line up with your classes. Maybe you had a part-time job and you couldn't fit the professor into your class schedule. So you're stuck with the garbage professor, the one that comes in and has a PhD but struggles to turn on the projector, the one who has a really thick accent and you can't read his handwriting. So you're stuck with the garbage professor and you got a bad grade. But that was the only thing that you could do. And it's more practical to just take a C and keep moving with your degree and graduate than it is to drop out or pay for another semester. But you'll never get a chance to explain these things to jobs that you're applying to. You'll never go on Indeed and see a box that says, please explain the context of your GPA and how you went about it and why your grades are so low. You'll never see that. The companies will just assume that you're just dumb and that you're just a bad student or a bad worker. And that's where these big boomer companies that value that are wrong. What about if you're in college and you live at home? Because that's the only thing you can do because you can't afford dorms. And while you're at home, you have a family that's really crappy and distracting and, abusive, and they yell at you and they don't understand you and they think college is stupid and higher education is dumb. Well, this takes a toll on your mental health because you're just trying to make it through school. You're just trying to get a better job and create a better life for yourself so you can get away from the life that you're currently in while you're in college. That takes a toll on your GPA. You get lower grades. Again, does this mean that you're not smart? Does this mean that you're a bad worker? Does this mean that you can't make a company profit? To me, your ability to endure all of that stuff of life and go to school and pass and get a degree, that shows strength and resilience to me. I'm sure we've heard this one before. Maybe the professor had a giant bell curve for his students, and somehow everyone ended up with an 85 in the class when the class average originally was a 45. But to me, this sounds like a crappy professor covering up their inability to teach well. But the way it's structured, the teacher can kind of flip the tables, do a little bit of gaslighting, and tell the students that they should be happy that they got a B, because the students just want to pass. When in reality, the professor should just be replaced. Does this mean you're a better worker because your teacher gave you a bell curve? No, that's just politics. Maybe someone in class was the teacher's pet and a brown noser and got better grades than the others who weren't. I mean, honestly, that's a useful skill in the corporate world to be a brown noser. But for those who don't do that, does that mean that they're less of a student, less of a worker because they didn't compromise their dignity? Maybe your class was based on group projects and you got assigned to people who didn't pull their weight. Well, now you are punished for other people. You try to talk to the teacher, you say, well, the people in my group aren't pulling their weight, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Your teacher's just gonna say, well, welcome to the real world. You better figure it out. At least in the real world, those people get fired and you don't, because you can talk to your boss on an individual basis. What this comes down to is that many different people judge your performance through their own opinionated methods over the course of a few years without any insight into their students' lives, into their students' circumstances, or how those students learn best. So now, for some reason, we take the average of all of that opinionated judgment and we use that to tell an employer if we can make them more money or not, if we're gonna be a good worker. There's no context to that. And there are intricacies of people's lives when they're going to school, doing their best, that need to be explained on an individual basis that you just won't be able to talk about when you click apply and wait for them to get back to you. So again, measuring someone's GPA to GPA just has no bearing on if they're gonna be a good worker. And that's it, that's all I have to say. I could rant about this all day. It's just not a fair metric to use. I don't care if you disagree, but this is the reality of the situation. Companies wanna make money. Doesn't matter how smart you are. I'm sure we've all met people who are super smart, but are terrible workers, and vice versa, you know? So that's all I have for you guys today. Maybe share this video with people who are struggling with their GPA and worried about it and not being able to get that first entry-level job or whatever it is. Go ahead, click like, double smash thumbs down if you think GPA does matter, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I have some links in the description. I'd be happy if you check those things out. They support the channel and they keep me doing what I'm doing. Check out the entrepreneurship course. It's pretty dope. It's helped a lot of people open their business. That's it. Thanks for being here. Shout out to HR lady in the background. I'll see you guys in the next one.